Why is it so difficult to change, even when we know what we should do to change? And if we don't know, we have the internet with endless information on how to do it. This is the idea I want to explore in this video, and I will share some concepts that usually break people free from not succeeding. So first we need to understand that humans are habitual creatures. Our mind and body strives to use the least amount of energy. So we go where it's the least resistance, and that's our habits. That's our known. It's our system wants to go on the same path. And this is essentially the core reason why it's so difficult to change. We see this over and over again. We see it in New Year's resolution. We see this in different events when people get super motivated, and then you see them a year later and nothing happened. Nothing changed. They go back to their old habits, systems, lifestyle, and misery. So how do we change? The people that are able to change have either a really high intrinsic motivation, they have a deep burning inside to change, and they're just so fed up, and that's when they take the steps and they create new principles and they create these new habits on how they can actually change. Most people need some kind of traumatic event or some negative thing to happen to them to actually do this. But there's an easier way, and that is coaching or mentoring or some kind of program. When you join some kind of program, it's not the information itself that is the most helpful. It's the commitment. It's the accountability. It gives you a reason to actually take those steps, because we all have that experience of being super motivated, and then we do that for a few weeks, and then there comes some kind of obstacle or resistance, and then we just stop. We need to understand that in order to change, we have to almost force ourselves into this new being. We have to embrace, embody the new identity, and that can only be done by repetition. We need to commit to some practice. We need to commit to the change. We need to actually believe that we are going to do it. This is why athletes, they all have coaches, musicians have producers, all successful people, they have some kind of community they belong to, because they realize that if they were to set out and do everything alone, it's gonna be really difficult, because your feelings start to control you, and you have all these shadows, your old belief system, all these things come up when you actually face some kind of obstacle and you have to struggle. And this is why if you work with a coach, when you struggle, you can just call him or her, or you can just send them a message and be like, oh shit, I'm in this situation, I don't know what to do, I feel like I need to do this, and my other side of my heart says I need to do this, and my brain says I need to do this, what should I do? And that's when you have that external source. And it's not that the external source, the coach or mentor, says what you need to do. It's usually they know your values, they know your goals, and that way they can push you in the right direction. And a lot of the times when we struggle and we get help from an external person that we trust, later on we see that, oh, I almost gave up because of my own insecurity or something like that. So the way you actually change is by externalizing the accountability. You need to be accountable. Otherwise, it's super difficult to do anything. This is why a lot of entrepreneurs who are used to working for a boss, they They have this dream of, yeah, I'm gonna be an entrepreneur, I'm gonna start this business, I'm gonna build it, and yeah. Then suddenly they quit their job and they're like, yes, now I'm just gonna do this. And suddenly they are procrastinating, they're coming up with excuses, they're coming up with all kinds of stories why they didn't get that thing to work or why the business never actually saw any success. The reason is because you haven't trained yourself to be accountable to yourself, and that's why most of us, we need some kind of external source that we can turn to when we start to be afraid, or when we start to just not feel it and we start to be like, oh, I don't even know if I should do this anymore, I'll think I'll just quit and I'll just walk away. Those who actually commit and those who externalize their accountability to a group, to a community, to a family member, whatever it is, whoever it is, these are the people who usually succeed. So I just want you to think about this, because if you have this idea of, I'm just gonna make everything alone, I'm just gonna do everything alone, I'm just gonna take full responsibility, I'm gonna be accountable to myself and win in life. That's not how us humans are built. We are supposed to be in groups. We are supposed to be in communities and in touch with other people. It makes it so much easier. And let's say you have a sparring partner, you have someone who you go to the gym with. I promise you, it's gonna be so much easier if you push each other than if you try to motivate yourself and go and take full responsibility and control your own life. So this is just a suggestion that you should have a coach, a mentor, a friend, someone who you can be accountable for and actually do the work. Because ultimately, when it comes to change, we need to step into those new shoes every day. We can't go back, because if we go back, the new path, it just kind of dissolves very quickly. And then it's like, oh, okay, we go back to the old. So you have to do the new thing for at least a month, and then you kind of hardwire your brain and body again, and then suddenly you see when you have this new habit, the new way of being, it's actually really difficult to change from that too. The longer you have had some kind of habits or traits, the more hardwired they are. And this is why you see so many people fail to change even if they don't like where they currently are. Get yourself some kind of friend, a coach, something that will help you to actually get into this new identity, because once you have that identity, then you can start to kind of freestyle more. But in the beginning, it's like 25 or 21 days, something like this is what science says that it takes to establish a new habit in the brain. So whatever you do, if you want to change, you have to commit. You have to commit for at least 1 month. If you do it for 3 months, then you can be kind of out of the deep water, and then it's kind of easier to take days off and do stuff that you used to do and enjoy. And this is the concept you want to play with, because you get excited and now you know that you're gonna change. You are so sure of it, and nothing is gonna stop you. Then why are you going back to the same things 2 weeks later? And you're like, yeah, it felt like it then, but now, I don't know. And change is always gonna be difficult. There's resistance. Your body actually physically resists your change because it wants to preserve energy. And especially if you are in stress and you try to change when you are stressful and in a stressful life situation, it most probably won't work. Our mind and subconscious mind is most suggestible when we are totally relaxed. So if you add stress and just a strong desire to change, this creates this loop of up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down. You feel motivated, you hate your life. You motivated, you hate your life. Essentially, you're just keeping yourself stuck in the same place with just a few days of motivation, and then it's like down. So you need to commit. You need to fully embrace the new thing, and you need to also realize that there's some things you have to say no to. There are some things you have to close off from your life because they aren't aligned with the new identity. And if you have this internal confusion, that's never a good thing. Once you align your heart and your mind to your mission, and you have people around that supports it, you have these accountability partners, that's when you start to change. That's when you start to find the right information, what to follow. It's not enough to just watch YouTube videos and think, I'm gonna change by watching videos. Everyone would have changed if you would change your life by watching videos. You have to take action. You have to actually go out and do the things that you want to do, that you know that you're supposed to do, in order to actually start living your new dream life. Okay? That's gonna be it for today's video. I hope you found it helpful, and I'll see you in a future video. Peace out.